Om Shri Ganepaya Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parampara. Om Sagana Bhavatu Sagana Punattu Sakaviryam Karavavakai Tejasvina Vadidamastu Mavit Vishavakai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvaraya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharya Nachiketa Sacha. Namaskaram. So we are in the 12th mantra of the second Valli of Prathama Adhyaya of Kathopanishad. I received a couple of interesting questions on my email. One is all about the Adhyatma Yoga. Because the Adhyatma Yoga, the phrase is, nowadays, many types of branding is there on that name. Even there are Adhyatma Yoga studios and so on and so forth. So let's not get confused with all those things. We are going to learn more because once we pass the 15th mantra, we are not having the story of Nachiketas as a prominent, but as the Atma Vidya. So you're going to have lots and lots of discussions on that. I purposely didn't touch too much into it, but we will go for that. And also the question about the difficulty of learning these things, because what if I have not been in the previous classes or haven't really understood that? Does it make sense to be part of it? Yes, it is. It is not an intellectual pursuit, but it allows you a lot of scope for intellectual pursuit as well, if you want to. But it is Atma Jnanam. You don't need to know anything. Just by listening, you will see how the Shravanam itself becomes Jnanam. Just a listening, and the listening mind is what is needed. Shraddha is what is needed. But even put it this way, why have to study Atma and all that stuff? I just want to be happy in life. Is there any problem with that? Absolutely not. God has no problem with that. Even if we don't really go to the God or seeking the grace of God generally, unless there is something strikes you hard in the heart, something sad happens in your life. Is it not? Just think back when everything is perfectly working, happy. Maybe you thank God, but you don't really go after the God or any such thing because things are fine. If I'm happy, why should I go to God? So happiness is the most important requirement, goal for us. So when you are happy, I don't need God, I don't need Atma Jnanam, anything like that, I don't need it. No problem with that. So don't need to feel guilty that we go to God only when there is a problem in my health, in my job, in my understanding of things. Otherwise, I don't go to God. It's perfectly understandable. You know why? Because when you are happy, if you're not going to the God, you are not far away from God. You cannot be far away from God. Because the true swarupam of God is happiness. So when you are happy, you are with God. When you are unhappy, also you are with God. But you say, no, I'm not with God because I'm unhappy. So you are trying to negate if happy is God, unhappy is not God. How can there be anything not God? Unhappy is not without God. So it's not the definition of God that matters, it's the understanding of happiness that matters. That is where you realize the happiness that I am enjoying in this world and forgetting about God is not the true happiness, because it goes away. So I want something which always with me. And because I don't see that that is something there to be with me all the time, I call it a different name for the happiness: money, bungalows, cars, wife, children. And I therefore look for God to help me acquire this. When I fail miserably, I go again. So our position has not changed. There is no need to search for God, no need to do Atma Jnanam. If you are steadfast in your goal that you want to be happy. A child doesn't need to know Atma Jnanam. A maniac, a loony doesn't need to know, because they have no question of sadness. They are happy, free. I'm not saying therefore don't need to worship God. What I'm saying is don't need to feel guilty that only when grief and sadness drags you to God, but not when you're happy. You redefine yourself. You are not escaping Shogam, but you want to be in your Swarupam. Swarupam is Anandam. The reason why God is always with you, because your natural not description. Your Swarupam is happiness itself, Anandam itself, Anandam itself. That we call it Atma. So God is called Brahma. Yes. Whether it's the ocean or the wave, it is water. It is Jiva or Ishvara, it is Atma. So Brahma is Paramatma. I am Jivatma. The underlying essence of it is Atma Tattvam. So you can call it Brahmatma if you want. So the Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya is the technique. I just use this word just to give you a context. It's not a technique, but it is the truth. But it's a technique you can apply, learn, assimilate to be forever happy. Now, if that is the problem statement, who doesn't own this problem? Everybody wants to be happy. And there was no school of thought, no education, no universities teach me the course is about how you become permanently happy in life. There's no course unless you come to Atma Vidya. So therefore, don't ever have the doubt that am I wasting your time on studying something which is sounds like esoteric in nature. No. Every time when you hear the word Atma, it is about you and I. Now, so that is what exactly the question that Nachiketas asked. This Kathopanishad, like Isavasya Upanishad, is monumental and important. The whole Bhagavad Gita is expansion or elaboration of this Upanishad. The whole of Bhagavad Gita's essence is in the 12th second chapter, verse 12 to 25. That is the Kathopanishad. This Atma Jnanam. But the Atma Jnanam cannot be secure if you're not ready for it. Therefore, you have to pursue certain niyamas, certain duties in your life so that you achieve the adhigaratvam. That means I must know the lifestyle that I should follow. This is what Bhagavan did in the Gita, taking Arjuna as an example, being a grahastha, a kshatriya in that case. He inculcated to him the supreme Atma Vidya, and then he was still trying to look out, how does the Atmajnani look like? How can I identify there are people like that? Who are you, O Krishna? You seem to be knowing everything else. If you are God, show me yourself. So all these questions that you and I want to ask, he asked. Bhagavan gave back all the answers to him, just teaching him step by step by step. How can you see God? Tam durdarsham. That's what we saw in the 12th mantra, right? Durdarsham. Cannot see it. But then Krishna showed himself. Yeah, he showed himself. Then what happened? He showed himself, asking him to wear the Jnana Drishti. He showed himself, and then he's gone. So that means it comes and goes. Mithyatvam. Mithyatvam is not bad. Mithyatvam is apparent reality, temporal reality. It's not illusion. It's not like not real. It's not asat. So everything that has got a nama, rupa, guna, vishesham is mithyatvam. But that's also God. That's also Brahman. But that's the only way we can see, because our andakaranas can only see what is out there. But then he said, everything will go. And he's going to disappear in Dwaraka. He said, I'm going to go. The whole clan is going to die. See the difference. Therefore, the Atma Chaitanyam, the Atma Jnanam is not knowable, but the knowledge given is to remove the ignorance around it. That's what the 12th mantra we saw. Tam durdarsham, gudam anupravishtam, guhahidam, dakvareshtam puranam. 5 definitions are given for the Atma. Please remember, Atma is you and I. It is a definition of you. It's also a definition of the God. Durdarsham, you cannot know yourself. Because whatever you think you know only your embodiments. The eye cannot see itself. If it sees in a mirror, it is saying it's pratibhimbam, not itself. So you can never see the seer. Therefore, I am the seer. The first definition gives me a great insight. I am not an object to be seen, but I am a seer. Now, how does it help me in the day-to-day life? If somebody tells me Raja is a bad person, what is he saying? Is he saying I am a bad person? I can never be bad. But what he is seeing is, because I am Durdarsham, he cannot see me. So he sees my body, he sees my mind, he sees my body, mind's behavior, the karmas I do. Therefore, my attitudes he sees. So he is blaming not me, because I am asangatvam, I am mangalam, shivoham. So you should never get hurt. When somebody says you are a bad person, don't get hurt, because you cannot be bad. So if you know that you cannot be bad, you are in a very positive seat and say, therefore, what I am doing may be a bad thing to do. If it is something that I do that causes bad things, I can very easily change it, because that is not my real nature. So you got to draw benefit toward living world. So Atma Darsham. Since I do not know it, it is Gudam Anupravishtam. Please don't get bored. I'm repeating it because these two mantras are so important to understand. Doesn't matter, it takes time. So Gudam means secret. Anupravishtam, like subtle. Anu. Pravishta means reached. So it's somewhere in the secret place. So don't imagine that it is hiding somewhere. Why? It is secret means it is unknowable because you don't have the faculties of knowing it. It's not hiding anywhere. But then how do I know it? This question you have to keep on asking because it's unknowable, sir. That's fine. Then what is the way to know it? The teacher will say, you would not know it, but you will realize it, that it is you. You're going to say, Tatvamasi. You're going to realize it. The realization is not out of knowledge of that. Realization is out of knowledge of everything other than that. You realize it. You understand? Therefore, the knowledge is going to give you that you are not. Okay. But that requires some illumination. So where does the illumination come from? Guhahitam. Guha means here is buddhi. Normally we say the hidam suffix in the it's a kind of sthiti, place. Guha hidam means it is in the buddhi, in the subtlest part of the mind. Atma is there. I am there. Then you can say, look, this is the question that somebody was asking me. That means you are saying it is located. If it is located in buddhi means it is not in the mind, it is not in the body. So it is limited, therefore. No. Here you must take see, in this Vedanta Vicharam, all these things you don't need to know, but I just give you, if you're interested, we dwell on it. How do you interpret the meaning of things from a bird? There are three important methodologies used in Vedanta. Methodologies are always justified, rationalized. They are very systematic one. We normally use it. Now I'm going to use a technical term, but we normally know all these things. One is called Jagat Lakshana. Lakshanam means the way, the approach. Jagat, not Jagat, Jagat. J-A-H-A, Jagat. Jagat means the world. Jagat in Sanskrit means giving up. Jahadi, gone. Jagat Lakshana means you give up the apparent meaning and take a Lakshyartha. Some phrases you require that. For example, Mukund lives in Thames, I say. You know, Thames is a river. I mean, Mukund lives in the Thames River? No. He's saying Thames means he's in the shore of the Thames. So he's in the banks of the Thames River, maybe an apartment he takes and he lives there. So what I have done now is I have given up the literal meaning of the word Thames. Jagat Lakshana. So in some words, we take out the literal meaning and put a new meaning to it. Then I say, oh, he got a big bonus, he bought a car. I saw him driving the red. Now I say, now you think, what is riding the red? Red cannot move anywhere. It means he must be, he said he bought a car. He says red. So he must be driving a red car. Now what I have done, the red I did not give up. Ajagat. Jagat means giving up. Ajagat means not giving up. So I used Ajagat Lakshana. That means the red I had to keep it, but it doesn't give a meaning. It doesn't contextualize this very well. Therefore, I take from the context, it must be a car. Therefore, he goes in a red car. You need this kind of a technology, the tool set to decode Vedas, especially Upanishads. It's called Ajagat Lakshanam. But sometimes you have to do both. You call it Jakadika Lakshanam. Or you even call it Bhagat Tyaga Lakshanam. That means some part you give up, some part you take it. Example. Ramesh ate the full mango. You say, where is the mango? I ate the full mango. You ate the full mango. And if you take Ajagat Lakshanam, that means not giving up the meaning, keeping everything, he must have eaten the skin, the thorn, the nut inside, seed inside. If you go and ask him, did you eat the seed? He say, don't be ridiculous. Nobody eats the seed. I give it up. Rest of it I eat. See, but he can use the word, I ate the whole mango, because a part of it, bhagat tyagam, some of it you have to give up. It doesn't make sense. I'm trying to give you an example. We don't need to go into this because you will have a lot of questions when we interpret certain words. You can easily compute in your mind, it follows into one of those things. Tattvamasi vicharam has to be only on this. So guha hitam, therefore, here means not placed in the buddhi, it can be revealed in the buddhi, than in the mind, than in the body, than in the jada vastu, because buddhi is the subtlest of things. The more subtle something is, less its properties are. More property become more gross. Yeah. A person got a lot of qualities, skin tone and height, weight, so many parameters. But a rock may have very little parameters, less parameters. A glass has just one parameter, just a smooth surface, maybe 2-3 parameters. So if you go down subtle, the parameters are less, the reflective capacity is more. More fine a material is, more reflectivity is. In the manas, the topmost layer, which is the buddhi, is the most subtlest of all. There the light reflects. So you say guha, there you can see the third definition there. Now think about yourself. Now you are trying to find out that you inside, yeah? It's unknown, it is secret, but I have a hope because it can be reflected in my brain, not brain, my buddhi, which is a subconscious part of your mind. So I can somehow invoke that. But then it throws another thing. Remember, this is Gahvareshtam. Gahvareshtam means it is positioned in the center of grief, in sorrow. It doesn't really make sense, right? Because Atma is Anandam. eternal bliss. How can it be said to be in the middle of deep sorrow? Here, sorrow means samsara. How can it be in the samsara? Again, can we apply this logic of Jagat Lakshana? What it means is that it is eluded by, eclipsed by samsara. I gave you a drishtandam for it, or instance for it. You think of God when there is a trouble. Otherwise, you don't think of God. Because when trouble comes in, somehow you go to the center of it and say, oh God, help me. It doesn't mean God is somehow sitting in a house of troubles. No. He is covered by our illusion of samsara. That means if I need to see myself, I will be using intermixedly the God, Brahma, Atma. Take it as Atma right now. So if I had to realize myself as a true myself, I have to really use my buddhi. That means I need to listen more. I need to have the buddhi to be clean. So I need bhakti for it. I need karma for it. I do all the seva for it. So don't give up all those things. You need to do all those things. You need to do your nitya karmas, nema karmas, satsangas, bhajans. All that you do because they purify your mind. The more the mind purifies, every layer becomes better, the buddhi becomes sharp. And it becomes reflection of your sattva guna. Then naturally, you will tend to go towards the satsanga. There is a reason why you come every Sunday. Even a beautiful Sunday today, you should go and play golf or do something. And you're listening because your brain, your buddhi is getting purer and it is seeking this, like how a calf seeks the mother's milk. You want this one. But then you realize to unravel that, I must remove the cover of samsara. And then fifth one, it says Puranam. Puranam means is it eternal, always existing as new. Pura, Abhinavam. We saw that. But Shankar also says the other way, Pura means city. Tripurantaka. Pura. The body is a city. So here it is Pura Anadi Buddhi Bhayati. So what makes this body illumine in the Buddhi? So that's the definition of Atma. See, the body is inert, right? It's a pretam, shavam. But it gets the animated nature, become lively because we call it uyir in Tamil, or we loosely use the word soul. But it's a prana. The prana makes this body to become alive. The prana is nothing but in subtle form is manas. They are combined. But is it intelligent principle? No. Sentient principle, intelligent principle. But it attains intelligence because of Atma Darshanam. There are so many ways we can see it. We call it Chidabhasam, the reflective theory, where the sun lights come on a light, on a glass piece, and suddenly the glass piece illuminates the room. So my window has got a glass. My house is full of light. How does this light comes in? From a glass that is reflecting the sunlight. And imagine sunlight that the glass thinks, hey, I am the one giving light. Can it do it? No, because the sun sets, the window, light gone. It's mithyatvam. See, mithya means don't think illusion or unreal. Mithya means what appears, but it cannot appear independent of its own. If you remember this definition, you won't have contradiction in the Advaita Vedanta. The opponents or those who debate against Advaita gives a very different definition of Mithyatvam. That's not what Shankara talks. Mithyatvam, Mithya is what appears. It appears, the very word means it did not exist before, it will not stay forever. The sun will not stay forever. It has got its life. Mithyatvam. Second definition, which is important definition, that's not part of the definition. It has to depend on something else. It has no existence by itself. What does it depend on? Satyam. The mithyatvam is enough. So mithyatvam therefore means nama rupa guna vishesham. Satyam is that which is nirguna Brahma. So therefore my body, my mind, my name, my color, texture, all these are mithyatvam. Because it appeared on one day, it will go away one day. But the mithyatvam needs a substratum underneath. That is Atma. Now, that is your choice, apparently, for some time, what you want to identify with. If you want to identify with the mithyatvam, then you will suffer. Then you have samsara. I am born, I am dead, I'm sick, I am angry. Because all this comes and goes. You have a will, only the Narajanmam has got the will to choose the truth from the falsehood. If I choose that I am Atma, upon which my existence exists, nay, upon which the whole universe exists for me, it means I am the Shrishtikarta for my own world. I am free. That is Atma Darshan. Now, once you know that, knowing means realize that, then life becomes a play. Life becomes a leela. And God comes in, when Shiva comes in and he gets beaten by an old lady for sleeping, not building this dam in Madura. And so we call it a leela. But if I go and unemployed, I lie down, somebody beats me up, it's not a leela for me. It's a seriousness for me. But if I understand the Atma Jnanam, if I know I am the Atma, my life's ordeals becomes a leela. Bring it on. I just enjoy it. You become a Jivan Mukta. Everything becomes free. You don't need God. You don't even have mukti, because mukti is only for those who is being imprisoned. There's no freedom for you if you're naturally free. Karnan did not have to born again to prove that he is a Kshatriya, because he was blamed to be a Shudra, because he was the charioteer's son. Even though Duryodhana gave him a status, Pandavas did not accept him as worthy of fight. So it is always haunting him, right? So he was deluded because he was associating with that thought that I am this person. When Kunti told him that you are my son, at the same moment that Shravanam becomes a Jnanam, he doesn't need to do any trials for it. He becomes Kshatriya. Then even though he fought, Pandavas thought he was not a Kshatriya, but they are worthy of fighting because he's a great warrior. Karna was free because I am doing a dharma yuddha, because only Kshatriyas can fight wars those days. That's the kind of dharma they had. So he knows I am doing Dharma Yuddha. So he is that way more knowledgeable, pious than Panchapandavas because they didn't know the fact. They were thinking they're fighting somebody who is lower in their caste. So what I'm saying, the Atma Jnana Vritti, Atma Jnana Bhagyam makes you take control of your life. It is not just an esoteric thought. It's not about mukti after death somewhere. It is about liberating you now in this world, this life, this period, this time. Now, so in this mantra, the five, so I think we are going to dwell on it again and again and again, so don't worry. So this five talks about the nature of Swarupam. The next line, Adhyatma Yoga Adhigamena Devam, he gives a Upayam. The Upayam is Adhyatma Yogam. Adhigamena means once you follow the Adhyatma Yogam, Devam. Devam means that Atma is known to you. So he is giving an Upayam called Adhyatma Yogam. So there are a lot of yoga institutes that give you Adhyatma Yoga in 40 days. Standing some postures and mudras, and please ignore all that. They may have its own good purpose. They may have a brand name for it. But this is Mahavidya, Paravidya, Yoga Vidya. So it is a Ramana Maharshi calls it Hridaya Vidya because it is actually bringing out the truth in you. What is it? What is it? Let's understand. Adhyatma Yoga is the contemplative meditation of finding out the Atma in you. Atma in you, Atma as you. Okay, it's a very loaded phrase I've said. How can I do it? We're going to go in this in great detail later. And Mother Maharaj is going to teach us. Bhagavan says, Ramana Maharshi says in his Upadeshacharam, Drishyavaridam Chittamatmana Chittavadarshanam Tattvadarshanam. What does it mean? You have to really, you don't need any great knowledge. You just take a thought that comes to you. Treat the thought as a sutratma, a rope. Don't let it go. Hold that thought. And then keep going to find out the root of the thought. Now, let's say what is thought. I'm going to use the word vritti. Okay, you can use whatever word. I think vritti has got a lot more resonance. Vritti is a pulsation in your otherwise tranquil mind. A wave comes in a ocean. In the silent waters, if the wave ripple comes in, that's a vritti. So vritti happens in your silent mind, that becomes a thought. It contains information. Example, I look at this cup. The moment I look at this cup, my eyes, imagine like a camera. I take a camera, I took an Apple iPhone, I just look at the cup, click it. It is completely insentient being this one. It's got some power. The power has got an ability to take the optical information from this cup. It has got some sort of computational power and create a bimbam inside this. The camera got this cup. I can do anything with the cup in the camera. Same way, my mind look at things and then it creates everything. It's called Andakarana Vritti. Here's something I call, oh, Lakshmi, then Lakshmi Mami will think, oh, he's calling me. Hearing creates a vritti. You smell something, a vritti. You touch something, that's a vritti. You taste something, then you think about laddu that you ate in your mother's hand. So everything that your senses engage with creates a vritti. We saw in Patanjali Yoga Sastra. These vrittis, now we are going to call them idam vritti. Idam means this in English. What is this means? Not me. This book means not me. Everything that is other than me is this. So idam vritti means all my thoughts is about objects, and the objects are called idam. Therefore, there are idam vrittis comes in. How many comes to my mind? Few billions. How often they come? Non-stop. Literally not non-stop. They do stop, but they stop in a very small time. Because why I say stop? Because if it comes means it must go. The next one will come. So between one going and one coming, there is a small gap is there. The gap, the mind is vrittiless. Chitta vritti nirodham happens there. What happened when there's chitta vritti nirodham? The mind is not agitated. Therefore, it is purely reflecting the buddhi underneath. In the buddhi, there is a light underneath. The light is Atma. The Atma is happiness. Therefore, your mind has got, let's say, anandam. It's an English word, happiness. Then your mind becomes anandam. You are fulfilled. So when there is no thought, you are blissful. So between thoughts, you are blissful. And the thoughts are so many, big thoughts, big waves, small waves. So can I just make these waves be in a common size? Okay, that means I should not think so many things, but I need to give something to think. So let me think of Ramanama, Krishna Nama, Shiva Nama. So you do Nama Japam. So when I think of Nama, slowly, other vrittis goes away. That the Shivanama vritti is there in your mind. Shivam, Shivam, Shivam. You're saying that the vritti comes there. So it also goes and stops. You think of Shiva, so many things still happens. And then you say, no, I want to uniform this one. Then you count it. Shivam, Shivam, Shivam. And you need a bead for it. Use a bead to count it. Now, the focus then moves from the counting to the gap. That's why when you do counting is one prayojanam of this japamala. The actual, if you're counting it, then the numbers will come into your mind. Then you start thinking, should I do 108 or 108 or 208 or other vrittis will come. But you focus on the gap between these beats, not on the thread. The thread is a sutra, but you on the sutratma. What is that is creating the thought? What is that the thought is ending? Now, if you can catch that in all your japas and things, you are started doing Adhyatma Yoga. Understand? Very simple. So next time when you do Japam, you do Ramanama, whatever the Ishtadevada Nama, but you start thinking, when my mind comes settled on this Nama Japam, my thoughts are not going anywhere, your fingers are rotating it, slowly shift the thought to from where this vritti comes and where the vritti goes. Now, There is another help for this. To do that, you should first go back to the idam vritti. I see the cup, I see the apple, I see you, I see the car. So these are all creating vrittis of the thought. So when you see me now, if a thought comes to your mind, maybe my face comes to your mind. When you see a mug, the mug comes to your mind. Pratibodham. But when I express it, you know how I expressed it. I see the cup, I see the tree, I see the apple. So the object is seen by me. I am there. It is me who sees everything. Understand? Without me, the mind cannot see. So, but the me also, the I also in my mind. It is also a vritti. You called it, or we call it, aham vritti. So gata vritti is a vritti of a pot. Aham vritti is vritti of the I thought, the I notion. Now, first of all, you must understand this. You must realize this is the fact. Now, what you're trying to do, you're trying to bring the I as a thought. It's a very interesting approach. This is all Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi is simplified in his Vyakhyanam, what Shankara puts in the wonderful bhashyas and what Vedas proclaim all the time. Simple, elegant truth. We don't have time to think about it. So the method here is you understand idam vritti. Vritti creates thoughts. Thoughts comes and goes. Between the thoughts is my true nature exist. Therefore, I must capture that. To capture that, I must find out the root where the thought rises and the root where it ends. So I must get the moola sthanam of the thought. I don't know how to do it. Then here comes the knowledge. Hey, every thought I make, I have, it comes to me, is coming from this carrier called I. The I must be also a thought. And this thought is very different from the idam thought. How is it different? Idam thought, so when I see the cup, in my mind is only my cup is there. I can imagine the cup in my mind. I can think of all these characters. But I don't imagine myself there. I don't think of myself there. You see the point? Every time you see something, the thought comes to you. It's quite subtle, but I don't need to go in this detail, but I think it'd be useful for you. When you think of an object, when you see an object, thought creates, only that objective thought is in your mind and you manipulate. The whole world is not actually, you're not actually changing the world, you're changing your thoughts of the world. You understand? So your Jagat is a Mithyatum. You create your mind, you manipulate, but you notice it, you don't have the Aham Vritti in your mind. Therefore, we can create a difference. The Idam Vritti has got an object focused and its locus is in the mind. The Aham Vritti is not object focused. It is substantial part. The locus also seems to be in the mind because I can recognize this. Aham diya shoga janma hedum in Bhagavatam says. See, this is all in Bhagavatam also. Bhagavatam says, among all these wonderful Puranas, and it injects the Vedanta there, in the Janma Hetum, where does the Aham thought comes out? Hetu means the root. Janma Hetu means the root of this Aham coming out. Where is it? Go and find out. So the Aham Vritti, therefore, is also Vritti. The difference comes how it's objectifying it. To make it clear for you, when the reflecting glass shows pictures on it, that is idam vritti. Do you remember we said in Tatsubodha and also in Kathopanishad? The I notion comes from the Jivan, that we call the Jiva. What we call the Jiva? Jiva is a chitabhasham, chit abhasham. Like this reflecting glass says, I can reflect, I can give you light, I can see things, I can reflect you. Same way, the mind thinks, I do it, I am this person, I enjoy it, I am the kartru, I am the bhokta, I am the karta. This is not true, isn't it? Because this is coming from the reflection of the Atma. So that reflective consciousness is Jiva, we call it Chitabhasham. So in that Chitabhasham, whatever it thinks is in the mind, idam vritti. Now imagine this reflecting glass is not there, the same light is there. That is Akavritti or Akhandakara vritti. Bhagavan used the phrase Akhandakara vritti. When you get up in the morning, when you come from deep sleep, when I say deep sleep, not having a dream, because our sleep goes through different pattern. You have the disturbed state, and then you have a dream state, and you have a 2-3 hours of deep sleep. Sushupti it's called. Then you come back to the dream state, and then you disturb sleep, and then you get up. That's how you normally get up. That's why when you get up, we become so disillusioned, our face doesn't look bright, because we've gone through some dream state. Some dreams you don't realize it. Not all dreams you can express next day. Dreams comes and go. You experienced yourself. Your mind has been completely choked up with this. So you get up in the morning, you still feel depressed because you didn't know that you had any dream, but you might have got the dream. It makes you choke up. So that's the reason why if you get up before the early morning dream state, which is the Brahma Muhurtam, that means from the Sushupti state, there is a benefit. The benefit is this, because in the deep sleep, everything is resting, mind is resting, the Ahamvriti is resting, Ahankaram is gone. But when with the Atma's grace, when you wake up again, the Buddhi catch hold of the first vritti straight from the Atma. Every other vritti comes in the Buddhi's light. I see the cup because the Buddhi is seeing the cup, not the Atma. The Atma, Chitabhasam sees it. So the reflected light sees it. Whereas the first Aham comes from Atma, the light becomes reflected in the Buddhi. Buddhi, instead of seeing it as an Atma, it thinks, I. So that microsecond of transition happens in Brahma Muhurtam, and if you catch that thought, that peace, if you get it, then you are in the Adhyatma Yoga. Because there are other benefits in the Brahma Muhurtam, because your mind is fresh, you can write, you can think, you can do a lot of analytical things. Everything will become very clear to you. Of course, then the samsara catches you. You do it. Now, this ahavritti, does it also stops? Like the pot vritti comes and then goes away. The moment I see from pot to the car, the pot is gone. Some memory is written in my chittam. As a remembrance, it can come back. But I am thinking now about the car. I'm thinking about something else. So idam vritti is comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. It does not stay put. But the I vritti, aham vritti, stays ever. Shruti, it lies down, dormant. Let's park that doubt for a minute. But the aham vritti is always there. So what do we learn from this? What we learn from this is the aham bhavam is what makes the objective knowledge to come, the karmas to be done, karmas to be owned, the samsaram to be led. So everything is because I know I exist. That's why animals don't have karma. Sheep have no karma. One sheep is slaughtered, another sheep is just standing next to it eating grass. It has no fear. It has no mind. It has no vritti of bhayam. It doesn't have a self of identity by itself. Of course, people are debating it because sometimes the elephants can see themselves, chimpanzee look at it in mirror. No, they are mimicking the stuff. It's instinctive stuff. It's not doing because of it knows it. There is some natural instinct like motherly instinct. That's it. The aham bhavam is only when the evolved species like the human beings. So the aham vritti always stays. So when we do this adhyatma yogam, which is contemplating on this thought root, we are going to see how it reveals. Like Bhashyakara says, even Bhagavan also says, after some stage, you lose control. This is all prayatnam, right? After listening to this, and if you're really serious, you will spend some time thinking about it. You put your effort, you read more books, more gurus, validate all the thoughts. Prayatnam. The prayatnam takes you in a path. At some stage, it stops because the grace comes in. The grace comes in always. When the grace comes in, it takes it away. It takes you that I am the one to take it. Therefore, you need the Bhagavan's grace to get the Atma Darshanam. That Bhagavan is Atma itself. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mamamaya Dhuratyaya Mame Vaye Prabhatyante Maya Medam Tarantite. Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, you are confused by all the Maya of mind. When you transcend this Maya, I mean, when you are able to move away from this Gunabedas, here, come to me. Okay, Bhagavan says, come to me. Don't think he's somewhere sitting there, I must go to him. That is a Dvaita Bhava. See, all the Dvaita Vadis will say, for them, God, he created the world and he created me. Therefore, the order is, I am the end of it. Therefore, the world is trying to get me, God is trying to get me. So you're always in a fear. So all this, some of the religions will give you the ethical code of it. Hey, you do it, God will punish you. The court will punish you. So I'm in an eternal fear. of God. So if I take that order of evolution, because Dvaitam it is needed, I am different from that. Every one of us is different. We can never be one. Of course, there's a logic contradiction. Everybody is different. How many is going to be there? How many is dead? How many is living there? They are Nityasuri. They are just flying all the time. What's the point of it? So, but here you have to look at it in a Advaita Param. So, grace is always present. So, how do I get the grace? I get the prayatnam here. How do you get the grace? Bhagavan says, grace is always present. You don't seek grace. It's not that God is not giving you grace. Of course, we say in prayers, bestow your grace upon me. We must ask, because we must plea. But that plea is not to invoke God to give you grace, because He says, I'm always giving you. What do I have to do? You cannot make God do the work for you. He's not going to take your instruction, because He's not going to bestow grace to you, because He's already bestowing grace. So what are we doing by asking grace is that we are reminding ourselves, let's pay attention. Attention is the mantra. You're going to see in this Kathopanishad mantra, which Bhagavan quotes in Gita and Ramana Maharshi quotes in many times. Shankara repeats in his Bhashya many times. Attention, attention, attention. That there is a grace upon me. For that is what the Atma Vidya is taking through. So I'll finish with this thought so that you can put a temporary understanding of Adhyatma Vidya, then when you finish the chapter, probably you'll get better understanding. So Adhyatma Vidya is 100% focused on my nature. It is not a Vidya, yoga that you have to do every day, 10 minutes in a clean room. No. It is about seeing you, who you really are in everything you do. That means everything you say. That means the root cause of all this is everything you think. Madhyama Vaikari. Para Paschyanti Madhyama Vaikari. Whatever you say, it comes from the innermost feeling, your thought and feelings. So what is that? Therefore, Vedanta always gives a shortcut. So which thought I should take, sir? Or should I take this thought, that thought? Doesn't matter. It is not the object that is important. Once a thinker, one of these disciple working for Ramanashrama with Bhagavan, doing some kaingaryas and shevas. And he had this question about Adhyatma Vidya. How do I get this Atma? I cannot really understand this. Bhagavan did not answer him. And one day, when he was supervising the kitchen staff, mommy was doing the cooking and she was doing something wrong or whatever. He gets angry. And he tells, because he has to get angry, because anger has to be used. So I'm not saying anger is wrong thing, but you need to use it as a tool. But he was completely gone. He said, look, don't do this to me. Don't do this kind of work. If you get angry, you will see my Swarupam. You know? And he turns back and Bhagavan is standing there smiling. He tells him, this I cannot forget, my father told me many times. And he told him, catch this. You see, just now you said, my Swarupa will come out. Catch it. What does it mean? Just for a second, you think, I get anger, right? There is a vritti. How does this anger vritti comes to me? To whom this anger comes to me? The moment you start thinking, of course, the anger will go away. The angry action will not be harmful. Therefore, there is a practical use of it. But then suddenly you will take you in a meditative contemplation, even for a few seconds, and the vritti just vanishes. I say, I was the one getting angry. Why should I be angry? When anger is gone, then what is left is I. So that which always stays behind is what comes and goes is antakarana vritti. What stays all the time is akandakara vritti. Kanda means break. Akanda means without break. The akandakara vritti is it's called ajaba jabam. Ajaba jabam means a jabam which is not a jabam, which is the thought of I. It is spurti. It's a pulsation of your heart. It is always that the wonderful japa is the aham padatthaya shivaya paramatmane. And you are doing this, it's called Mahayogam by Ramanas. Hridaya Yogam. It unravels the Hridaya Grandhi. I'm using a lot of words. Don't worry about the words. What it means is that the simplest of the tool, just I am going to use all the methodology of cleaning my mind, all the methodology of doing japas, tapas, all this to filter my dirt and my mind so the mind becomes pure. The mind becomes pure, my buddhi becomes light. When it is light, I am in a better position to capture any thought. It doesn't need to be a divine thought. In fact, all thoughts are divine. Any thought, then I contemplate on the thought. If it's a divine thought, much better. It doesn't matter. So the moment we start doing it, it becomes Adhyatma Yogam. Okay, so this is I think I spent 3 classes on the verse 12. I hope it is answered some of the questions that are raised. And the last line, of course, what it says, if you do all these things, matva, if you know it, matva means if you realize it, you are a dhiraga, matva dhiro. What do you do then? What's the point of all this? Harsha shokau jahati. No, I told you just now jaham. Jahat means giving up. Jahadi, you pass. What do you pass? Harsha shokau. Harsha means material joy, pleasures, sukham. Shoka means dukkha. This is called kakvareshta. The sukha dukkham, this oscillation of going here and there, you transcend it. It's not that you're going to go to another place where there is no sukha dukkham. No. No matter where you are, neither sukham nor dukkham, the right side or the left side is not going to hurt you because you will be in the center without any oscillation, like a chaitanyam, like a witness. Just come what may, it unaffects you. That is mukti, that is moksham. That is the purpose of it. Once you know it, you become a mrityunjaya. So I promise you, I go to the next class. The next class we will Kathopanishad. I think Lord Dharma Yamadharma talks about expanding this. What I told you just now, the Upayam of Adhyatma Yoga, and he gives a definitive steps. 3 steps he's going to give you. We see the steps. And the 14th verse would be where Nachiketas bright students normally don't wait for the detailed explanation. He's going to intervene and say, he's going to rephrase the question beautifully. I'm going to put the spot on his guru and say, please now come to the point. Tell me, teach me the Atma Vidya. Then verse 15 onwards, it's all full of Vedanta. So you don't repeat that. Stop it now. Om Shakana Bhavatu.
Sakanavavatu
Shakanau Punattu.
Sakanavavatu
Sagaviryam Karavavahai.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai
Tejasvinavadidamastu.
Tejasvinavaditamastu
Ma Vidvishavahai.
Mavidvishavahai
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.